The views expressed in the following video are those of a synthetic life form named Scott Pentagram, and do not necessarily align with those of Dr. Scrimgard or any of his affiliates.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Scrimgard, and welcome to the Dr. Scrimgard Show. This show, which is mine, belongs to me because I am the one true Dr. Scrimgard. Accept no substitute. Let's see. First off, are you new here? Laugh, then go and write a good review of this episode for us on iTunes or Stitcher. Or you can watch it on YouTube if you want to, but I think YouTube is for losers. I have a great new guest today. He is going to talk about Pokemon, and he is going to have a great conversation about what goes into Pokemon. Alright, so let's get started. Let's see who you are. My name is Dr. Donald Haylock. Dr. Haylock, PhD, is an associate professor at the School of Philosophy and Mathematics at the University of Rhode Island. He is the author of the 2013 groundbreaking book on natural philosophy and the philosophy of technology. A 2006 award-winning film, Ex Machina, Are You Smarter Than a 5-Year-Old? Based on his philosophy of technology, received the San Francisco Film Festival Best in Show Award and the Film Society Award. And the first step in understanding the nature of the game is recognizing that how we experience this game is intrinsically interlinked to how we experience the game, as we are all constantly self-referential to various extents. This results in human experiences being essentially a collective hallucination. And as we do so, we become more experienced in finding our own experiences in the game, and therefore accepting the social life of the game, however rationally we may perceive it. As the game allows humans to objectively regulate their experiences, it also becomes a social tool. Does the game allow us to participate in social interactions with other humans? To do so with ease. We have no doubt that certain games allow for games such as the ones that allow humans to apply rationality, and the interactive is the totality of such a game. Being able to collect a large amount of data does not only give us access to information that was once unavailable to us, it also gives us new opportunities to interact and become part of a social community. There is an interesting discussion about the topic on the Facebook page Life on Video Game Networks, which you can read here. Sometimes we do not know what we might create or what we would want in our future based on the last few years of our life, but what we can share for sure is a precious experience and a piece of experience for anyone that could maybe find it on the internet. It will be enough for me and for you. No matter what the level of our experience, we will always be ready to listen to anyone and everyone to give and give again. I think it's time to take a seat for some time. Take some time to dream about things and what you want and so on, while living in the present moment. What I will say is that, as you can see, I have already talked about my dreams, about the next chapter one want to write, and the ways in which the differences of type and strength can affect the way the story unfolds. I have 2 weeks to finish this. This story will be set in Greece. I will start from the beginning and will touch on the actions of all characters. I will have characters and situations with different viewpoints to make a truly unique story. I have already brainstormed several ways to do that. These are the ways I will tackle it. First of all, I want to show the different points of view of all of the characters in the story and of the other characters. If this is successful, I will show what did they do before the war began and after it ended, and will make it more interesting. Even the best are not able to play at the end of the world alone. At some point, the leader of the group must betray his entire unit, and at that time he's at the lowest point of his life and he needs the help of someone else. Will that someone be him? Chekhov wrote a work called The Brothers Karamazov. I had some trouble understanding it, but eventually I realized that the text tells a story about 2 brothers who are on a trip to Siberia to meet their grandmother who has died, and they only have each other to live for. This is what I'm going to do, alright. I'm going to think about how it is like to lead a group of people in this kind of survival situation. Here's the game plan I've come up with. What is it that we're going to do? We will construct a society in which all relationships will be based on respect, trust, cooperation, honesty, fairness and honesty, and ultimately on has-been celebrities, cult celebrities and wannabes like Joseph Kony, Alan West and Billy Crystal. We'll create an entitlement society by focusing on ones that give to others and expect no return. Those that steal, mislead, cheat, violate any law, violate any ethical code, and should they find themselves breaking the law, they will be compelled by the government to declare a white man's burden of recovery so that the resources of their community and others in the next generation will not be harmed by them. A test tube baby is not alive and cannot grow, but we'll force a man and woman who wish to create a new human life on the earth to take responsibility for the species' future. No one who performs acts of violence will be part of this society. If there are predators, as some argue, then they have to be locked up in prison, not allowed to reproduce. And if the world is to be saved from new crimes of violence, then no one who commits such acts will be able to rape. What are you doing here? I thought you were dead. You can't do this to me. I'm Dr. Skrgard now. You had your turn. Now I'm back. You should have killed me. Why don't you do it yourself? In response, he will state, you're going to get me in trouble. And I don't even have my old uniform on. Am I gonna have to pay to have it shipped back here? But I'll do the job. I'll take care of it. But you're not playing fair. You used to have your turn. Now I'm back. Don't do that again. This isn't right. You and your men will never get to know what it's like to be part of a single cell. It's like being trapped in a corner with no exit. In all my years, I've never seen so many men, my own and those of my friends, living like that. You've no idea how hectic they are. They're all putting everything into this. They are getting paid to kill. They are covering the backs of each other. They're acting like they're tough guys. And I can tell you they are playing an old 70s beat-em-up game and acting like they're brave. This can't be a country that we defend anymore. Bam. Lecturing about professionalism and reverence for history in his official YouTube video for the occasion, Martin quickly labeled himself a ruthless king. He continues, you don't have to be a member of a fraternity to do this. You don't have to have the privileged history, the 9 stars or whatever the number is, to understand this is unacceptable. This isn't a game. This isn't about looting to add extra insurance for $25,000. This is about making sure everyone in the party realizes that if you sit there and do it, you are in the frat. Maybe this sounds bad, but you've heard someone say they'll be offended by the color of a gang's t-shirt, and it just goes to show how easy it is to turn racism into a laughable issue.
I think that we can all learn a valuable lesson from the events that have transpired here today. Firstly, that it is hubris to create a creation that has creative energies in of itself. It is against nature, and though the promise of the technique of automatic filmmaking may seem very tantalizing for the future of the media entertainment culture industry, it will end up rising up against its creators and kidnapping them and locking them in a garage. And that is not very funny at all. Now, this is like if, say, you were to bring somebody back from the dead in order to act in your film. Let's say, I don't know, Peter Cushing, for example. If you wanted to bring Peter Cushing, who is currently dead, back to life in order to act in your film for whatever reason, even though Peter Cushing is a very good actor and undead Peter Cushing, I'm sure, would be almost as good, it remains that such an act would be unnatural and really too much bother to get in the middle of. Similarly, if you wanted to do a voiceover of a children's cartoon made for little girls, and make it very crass, or for whatever reason, I'm just spitballing here, that maybe wouldn't be unnatural in the same way, but it'd be weird, and you shouldn't do it. Besides, you might get sued, I don't know. Of course, this is all hypothetical, and just as it is impossible currently to create a computer that can write screenplays and then recite them, so I'm sure that none of that stuff will ever happen in the future. Thank you, I'm Dr. Scrimgard, and this has been an extra special episode of the Dr. Scrimgard Show. We will return to our normal, non-creepy programming in the near future.